Termina is a strange reflection of Hyrule, an alternate world filled with familiar faces belonging to eerily different characters. The level of care that went into creating this world means that it's full of secrets and obscure details, so since we already covered the game's older and younger siblings, Ocarina of Time and The Wind Waker, why not have a look at some secrets and trivia in Majora's Mask that you might not know about? Subscribe if you haven't already for more Zelda content, and let's get into it. Clocktown sits in the centre of Termina Field, surrounded by high stone walls. A single enemy, known as a Gwei, flies around the walls of Clocktown in a loop, and notably, it won't attack you. You can kill it, but this won't reward you with anything. Instead, if Link plays one of the temple songs, the bird will begin dropping rupees as it flies, beginning with green but finally dropping a red rupee before flying off into the distance. There's another secret way to grab some rupees in Termina Field. In the north end, in the shadow of Snowhead Mountain, Link can find a set of music notes carved into a flat wall, next to either a drawing of Skull Kid in the original or some rupees in the remake. Playing the notes rewards Link with some rupees. Most of the time, these notes don't mean anything, but occasionally there'll be songs from Ocarina of Time, like the Temple Warp songs. The Ikana region is the broken ruin of a once great kingdom, a barren wasteland, writhing with the lost undead. As well as the kingdom's castle and the enigmatic stone tower, the region features a graveyard, of course watched over by Dampé. Dampé is a strange, hunchbacked man who, funnily enough for a gravekeeper who lives in a haunted valley, is scared of the undead. He'll hide under his bed when spooked by a ghost and locks himself in his hut at night when the dead come out. You can provoke a brilliant reaction from Dampé by talking to him while wearing the Captain's Hat, a skeletal mask given to Link by Captain Kita. Mistaking Link for one of the undead, Dampé freaks out and sprints a lap around the graveyard before locking himself in his hut and refusing to leave. Another interesting reaction to the mask Link is wearing can be seen at the doggy racetrack at Romani Ranch. The owner, Mamamoo Yan, will warn Link about participating if he's wearing any of the main 3 transformation masks, saying that the dogs will be scared of Goron Link, will try and attack Deku Link, and will love the smell of Zora Link. So I guess that's confirmation that Zora Link absolutely reeks of fish. Not sure what else I expected. She's not lying either. If Link enters the pen with the Zora mask on, the dogs will surround him. If he wears the Goron mask, they'll growl and run away. And if he wears the Deku mask, he'll be torn apart in a frenzy of fur and teeth. Zelda games often have fascinating unused assets, like a cut animation showing the Master Sword returning to the Korok Forest from Breath of the Wild. Majora's Mask of course has its fair share of unused content, and one of the most interesting examples is a mask resembling Child Link, which obviously never made it into the final game. Strangely, this mask is found within Skull Kid's object. 3 copies of the mask exist, with different rotations, which line up with the rotations of the Majora's Mask object used by Skull Kid, which hints that, at some point, the Skull Kid was intended to wear a Link mask, which is pretty terrifying. Many Zelda games feature little references to Nintendo's future projects, such as posters for Skyward Sword dotted around Ocarina of Time 3D, or paintings of Breath of the Wild found in Twilight Princess HD. The original Majora's Mask is no different. In the Astral Observatory, breaking a small pot covering a piece of paper will reveal a drawing of a dolphin, most likely a nod to the console Nintendo were developing at the time, the GameCube, which was known as Project Dolphin. Understandably, this doesn't appear in the 3DS remake. Outside of Hero Mode, it's rare for Zelda games to include many changes on subsequent playthroughs. One of my favourites is The Wind Waker, which allows you to play through a second time not only in your Outset Island clothes, but with the ancient Hylian spoken by the Great Deku Tree, Jaboon and Valu translated. Interestingly, Majora's Mask's ending is a tiny bit different for those who've already beaten the game on their save file. During the confrontation with the Skull Kid atop the clock tower, after the giants have been called and the moon's descent halted, Cale usually explains to Tattle how the mask manipulated the Skull Kid, that their friend was lonely and Majora's power was too much for him to handle. However, if this cutscene is repeated on a save which has already beaten the game, this dialogue is completely different. Tattle will sarcastically explain to Cale that she already knows the Skull Kid's story, and Cale responds by wondering how his sister knows this. The rest of the ending is the same, but it's a neat little change for those who've beaten the game before. Thanks for watching this video. We're in the final stretch now before E3, and hopefully another look at Breath of the Wild's upcoming sequel, so stay tuned for coverage on any and all Zelda content we see there on this channel. Cheers guys, and I'll see you next time.